Hello, everybody. Jim Malone here with Dallas Trading Floor. It's Wednesday, and the Nasdaq is down a little bit today. Looks like it's pulling back. Some of my positions have pulled back, but I do have some interesting thing. I did do a very short trade on Coinbase right when it came out today. I want to show you that, and so we have some other stuff. That possibly is coming out. So I just want to get into the slides here and kind of give you a look see at kind of what we've got, and then we'll get into the questions in just a second. But thanks for everybody being here. I do very much enjoy doing this show every day. So kind of sharing what I'm doing, and then hopefully some questions as well. So hopefully I'm going to get. Well, it looks like my screens have locked up once again. Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. So basically what's going on right now is the Nasdaq is pulling back, and it does look like we're going to be, we've been up a few days in a row, and it looks like, we may be giving back some of that. So just want to kind of show you this. The market trend is we're still in a confirmed uptrend, but we do have the situation with with the Nasdaq pulling back about 1%, about 3.45%, excuse me, as well. So it's down a little bit today. We're at 13,914, but we're still well above the 50-day moving average. So that's a good thing. But we are giving up a little bit of the gains that we've had in the last week. I wanted to show you the chart of the Nasdaq Composite. As I said, today we are pulling back about 0.757. Now, the index that is doing the best is once again the Dow, and it seems to be very strong today, whereas we're seeing some weakness in the Nasdaq. So that's something to be concerned about. Today, the stock of the day is Goldman Sachs. It's up $11.72. They had some very good results, and it does have a what they call a 3-week tight pattern that is sort of emerging, and it's got a composite rate of 81. You might want to take a look at this one. It's a little bit it's spiked up a little bit, so I don't really think you could buy it now. It's extended, but it seems like the financial sector is once again getting some love. So it's been it's sort of been out of favor, but maybe we're coming back into a time when some of the financial stocks will do well. So definitely want to take a GS. That's Goldman Sachs. Now, kind of an interesting thing today. Here's how I traded Coinbase, which is kind of an interesting stock. I mean, obviously, I don't plan on holding this any amount of time. Basically, I held it for 10 minutes today when it came out on the IPO, and it came out right about a little bit above 380, and then it kind of rocketed up there to almost 430. And then sort of fell back to earth. So basically what I did is when it moved past 400, I was in, and then basically I pushed my stop losses up. This is what I keep talking to everybody about, stop losses. This could kind of give you sort of a good way to trade something like this, is that if you do have a really volatile stock and it's moving up very quickly, this is how I recommend to trade it. And this is actually a chart of exactly how I traded it today. It came out it came out of the gate very strong, and then I set my first stop loss at 405, second stop loss at 410. Then I moved it up to 420, and then just right after I did that, it pulled back and then it sold me out at 420, and then it rocketed down. I think it's trading now below. I think it's trading down below the open price. So hopefully I should be unmuted now. Thank you so very much for that for that. I went through all the things and I was silent there. So hopefully that's a lot better now that we've got that going. So let me just make sure that I've got everything set up here correctly. And it does look like I'm getting, well, goodness gracious, boy, it's not letting me do. There we go. Okay, I think I'm set up now correctly. So thank you very, very much for that. Thank you very, very much for that. Appreciate that, Z, very, very much. And that was easy for me to find out. So, anyways, AGCO Corp. It's looking pretty good. It's got a 92 relative strength. Now I just kind of want to get a feel for it. It's the area is farm machinery, and it's 44 out of 197 in terms of the sectors, and that's really kind of what we're looking at here. I kind of want to see what their competitors are. John Deere is off a little bit now. Looking at the peers, you've got AGCO, and you've got Deere's down, and Alamo Group, and Lindsay, and Raven. So this is actually looking like the best in the breed. So let's just kind of see. There's quite a few funds in it, but it has dropped. So 35 funds, that's good. Anything over 20 funds is typically very good. And it looking like it has got the highest relative strength, basically on par with Deere. So this is very, very good. It seems to have a lot of things going for it. AGCO, okay, and we'll move back to the actual chart here. I want to look at the daily chart, see if there's any kind of entry point here. Unfortunately, there just doesn't seem to really be a good entry on this. It just seems to be, hugging this 10-day line. That's actually very good. I mean, if a stock is trading above the 10-day line and it's holding that's a very strong sign, because typically it will be moving higher. You possibly could get in at a higher high. That would be 148.46, but it's looking very good. If you're in the stock, I would not sell this, but I don't know if I would add to position here. I would be careful with my stop loss. I would try to put my stop loss in this stock right now at the 21-day line, and that is about 143.80. So it's up from that. So I think it's looking very, very good. So very good stock. It's a good stock, and I think I think you may be into something really quite good there. So very interesting. Thank you very much for that. Let's look at the trade desk. That's TTD. This is an interesting company. It basically Google and Facebook kind of control the online ad business, but with one exception. Everything else goes through the trade desk. So they have a great business model. And last year, this was a terrific stock. It has been pulling back, and it looks like it has bounced off the 200-day average here. Now, would I buy it at this location? I would watch this one, because I do think this is a very powerful stock. The last time it made its high was back in mid-December of last year at $972.80. It looks as if it could clear the 50-day line, then I think you might want to look at possibly adding to a position. The 50-day line right now is 753.61. So we're a little bit low of that. It's pulled back today, but the trend on this is moving higher. It's got a relative strength of 81. Here's what I would do on this one. I would not try to enter this one yet. I think it's still getting ready. I want to see a little bit more strength. This is a little bit of a weaker market than we've been used to, so I think you got to have much better entry points. So here's what I would say on TDT, at least for right now. I just think you've got to basically watch list this one for right now. I think that's really what you've got to do, and so hopefully that will that will work for you. And but that's a very good stock. If you're in it, I wouldn't sell it, but again, I don't think I would initiate a new position right here, because it just doesn't seem that would be correct. Let's see if hopefully my audio, there we go. Yeah, my audio's a little better. All right. I'm having to adjust the audio. For some reason, I had a little bit of again, a situation with that. I think it's some of the defaults that I've set and they're not set correctly. So hopefully I'll clear that up before tomorrow and get it so it's a little bit better. Thoughts on Coinbase? Well, as I said, I was in Coin and I'm going to go back to the chart how I traded Coinbase today, because I think that might be kind of instructive. It's really, I'm not looking to own Coinbase. Basically, it was a trade for me, and here's how I was in it today on TradePlay. So I'm going to go back to let's see. I'm going to go back to the to our chart just to look at Coinbase. Let's see. Yeah, this is how I traded Coinbase today. Basically, it came out basically right at about 13, about 1, about 1:15. It came out right about right in the afternoon hour, basically 1:15 Eastern time. I then basically waited on this one. I jumped in right here at 400. I had a buy stop limit order on it, and that's why I was able to get it right at that price. It then basically I was able to get in at about 43, and then basically I started moving my stop losses up. I first moved it to 405, then to 410, and then finally to 420. Basically, with almost 2 to 3 minutes after I had inputted the stop loss at 420, it pulled back, and I was sold out. Basically, I was only in the stock for about 10 minutes total. But I was fortunate, and I caught the rise from about 400 to 420. So not a bad little run. We'll see how it trades in the future, though. I'm not really looking to invest in it. I just it's just when these come out, sometimes there's some opportunities for kind of a quick trade on them, because there was a lot of hype, and I think it's pulled back. So let's take a look at I want to look at the chart now, the actual real chart for Coinbase, to kind of see, and I'm gonna move it to the bigger chart here. But basically with Coinbase, let's see if I can bring that up. And okay, there we go. So with Coinbase, and I had it on the trade desk, COIN is the symbol, of course, for that. There we go. And that's basically that's basically all there is to it. This obviously only has one bar, but the important thing is to take a look at the 1 minute chart. And as you can see, this is very, very typical of how a stock trades when it comes out of the door. It comes out very excited, and then boom, it goes down, and then it's gonna trade down. Basically, it's right now trading about 330 level. I do expect that it probably will trade lower. So this is one of the reasons I always warn people when they're trying to get into a stock like this, is to basically wait probably 30 days to see how it's going to trade. Right now with the daily chart, you really can't tell anything. It's just come right out of the gate. And again, I was just playing the gap up, the upward gap on the open. I knew that'd be how it would trade, and that's indeed how it was trade. But I was literally only in the stock for 10 minutes. So, but it's kind of fun. These stocks are fun if you can get it right. If you're not, you kick yourself in the shins. Okay, so thoughts on Coinbase? Yeah, thank you very much for that question. Really appreciate it. Let's look at Tesla. Tesla has pulled back a little bit today. It did pull through that very, very key level. Basically I was trying to indicate to people that the buy point that I saw on that was about 715. Currently it's trading a little bit above that, 732. Yesterday it powered through the 50-day moving average. That's this red line here, and then it's pulled back a little bit today. But that's really not surprising, because there's resistance right at this line. Actually, it's a little bit before it. It's the resistance, I believe, is right about, and I'm going to kind of see if I can put the cursor on it. But is right about here. It's at about 715 is where the resistance is. It looks like if it can hold above this, then we may have gone through resistance. Let's look at the 1-minute chart to kind of see how it's trading. As you can see, it's trading down today. It's gotten a little bit of bounce, but overall it's trading down. It basically broke through the resistance, so I'm going to move it out a little bit. I'm going to move to the 15-minute chart, and this will kind of give us the action on it. As you can see, it moved down, and then yesterday it broke the resistance, and the resistance was right here, I believe, between 710 and 720. That's why I said 715 was the resistance on that. It then broke, and then it moved very, very fast above, but now it's going to settle. Now, hopefully it'll settle above that 715, because if it does, then I believe, we're going to be in a situation where it will possibly move higher. But right now, you've got to be a little bit careful in buying Tesla, because it did pull through this, but it looks like it's going to settle. Now, I'm expecting, hopefully, it to close above 715. If it does, and it can hold it for 2 or 3 more days, then I think we may be off to the races again. But right now, for Tesla, I think we've got to be a little bit careful. But if you got into it and it gapped up on you, fantastic. Set your stop losses up. I would recommend for Tesla putting it at about 715. That's where I think you got to put your line in the sand. So, great question. I love Tesla questions. Absolutely do. And I hope you're enjoying yourself there in beautiful Thailand. By the way, it's a beautiful place, Antonio, and very, very nice. Thanks for that question so much. Let's look at WFC. WFC, and that, of course, is Wells Fargo, and everybody knows about Wells Fargo. It's one of the big money center banks, along with Goldman Sachs. It definitely has a very similar chart today that, like Goldman did, with this very nice gap up from the from the support at the 21-day exponential. So that's looking pretty good. It's making a new high. Again, there's been this has been basically a down day for most of the Nasdaq, but one area that is sort of a bright light today has been the financials. They've been doing very, very well. Now, most of those are not in the Nasdaq. They're in the S&P, and they've been doing quite well today. I think it's a more of a defensive play, but look at this. The relative strength on Wells Fargo is up 71%. Typically, I'd like to see that at 80% before I would be buying it, but I'm liking that volume a lot. There's some very, very big players coming in here, and you can tell this because this volume spike here is a volume spike on much higher on a new higher high. So that's very bullish. Again, it was a result of their earnings. They're up basically 77% over last quarter. So let's kind of look at the kind of why this is happening. Even though Wells Fargo's sales were down 9%, their profits were up 77%. So this is the kind of I think a lot of their loan quality is better. Now one of the things that I think you got to be careful on here is that because with the COVID thing, we've had a lot of mortgages have forbearances on them now, and the thing about it is that Wells Fargo is a major lender in the residential home market. So that I don't necessarily know if that has been fully reported. So I'd be a little bit careful with specifically with in the financial sector with Wells Fargo because of their exposure to the home loan business. Now with Goldman, they don't have that kind of exposure, so it's probably of the two the better. So let's kind of look at the ranking in this money center banking group, because this is this has moved up very well. It's 64 now out of 197 in terms of the in terms of the ranking. So let's see if I can get a good play on that. Let's see if I can. Well, maybe not. Okay, sometimes it will let me, and sometimes it won't. I won't click through. All right. Well, but anyways, in this group, Goldman is the strongest. Let's look at the Goldman chart here, GS, and this is the stock of the day. And I think Goldman is showing a little bit more strength. It's up $3.60, or about 1% today. So it's kind of an expensive stock. but it is showing a lot more strength than Wells Fargo. So of these two, if you're going to be in this area, I think that you probably want to take a look at buying fewer shares of Goldman if you want to be in the financials. I'm currently not in any of the financials, but it is a good place to look for. It is a good place to look for stuff. I have some very interesting news on NEO. This is a question from TikTok. Thank you so very much, Gabriel Trades. Thank you very, very much. And let's look at NEO. And NEO, of course, as you know, yesterday, after the bell, signed a deal with Ford, and that may be positive for the stock, but it doesn't seem to be. It's kind of strange. I mean, it's pulled back today about $1.19, or about 3%, and I don't really understand that because of this deal with potential deal with Ford. I kind of want to look at Ford as well. I want to see how that's trading. But first, I'm going to check for any news on. These are just this not really anything. I want to find more about this news with the Ford link up, but I don't seem to. Let's look at Ford as well, because that's the news that I heard, that they're going to be linking up with NEO, but they don't seem to. Again, they're down a little bit as well, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on there with that. So let me see if I can find some news on NEO with this Ford deal. So let me just pull back and see if we can find something that possibly will pull back. I'm just trying to see. Oh, no sound. Okay, great. Oh, I mean, no sound on YouTube. Great. Okay, I just want to thank you very much. I appreciate this, Dallas Cowboys. Perfect. I think I should have volume on there now, so I just wanted to make sure that that I was up on that. So okay, let's look at. I'm just going to kind of scan some of the news here to see if I can find out any news on this NEO deal, and see if I can find anything. And let me just pull this up if I can. Okay. And there we go. Okay, it's just basically quotes, not a thing. All right, Strike sets up. Okay, NEO. Okay, here we go. This is kind of what I wanted to show everybody here, and this is the news on NEO. And let me pull it up on the screen for everybody that's watching on that's watching on YouTube, because basically what the deal is here is we have there we go. Finally get it. One more click. There we go. All right. So basically, NEO on Thursday. This is after the bell. They're going to announce a partnership with Ford. NEO has been floundering basically. It's basically off 50% off its high. That was just basically 3 or 4 months ago, and now it basically is moved down. So as you can see, it made its high back here, basically in last year, and then it's kind of been drifting lower since. Now this probably should have moved it higher, but it doesn't seem to appear to. It doesn't seem to appear to on it. So for right now with NEO, I think you just really have to watch this one. It's to the point where I think it's going to be very hard. Very, very hard. Oh, I've got a question from, this is an important one. This is from James on TikTok. He said that he shorted coin at 375. Should he cover? Boy, if I was profitable, I probably would cover at this point. Let me just kind of give an answer. Try to see if I can give a somewhat educated answer for this on for Coinbase. But let's look to see kind of where we are in terms of in that. See if we should do a short cover. Coin. I know people are very interested. Boy, you know what? It's currently at 327, and you were saying that you're short at 375. That's a good short, by the way. Very good short. You know what? Here's the thing. It looks like it's bounced up a little bit. You know, I would cover this one because you know you could make a quick almost. You're going to make almost $50 by covering. So I would cover. Now I played the opposite end of that one. Of course, I basically went with the buy stop limit order in at 400. I rode it to 420, and then boom, I was out. But your short was a good good one. But I definitely think you should close. I think tomorrow this is headed south. So very, very good. Thanks for sharing that. By the way, this is very instructive. This is a really good way that you can possibly benefit when something as hot as Coinbase is coming out. I came in right in the first really 5 or 6 minutes of the open, and of course that's probably if the news issue that's always going to be a spike up, and then of course you move your stop losses up. But James has a really good play, and that was basically to once the thing started to drop, and they dropped like a stone. He was in there shorting. So I want to kind of show you the and I'm going to put it up here, the 15 minute. I'm going to put up the 1 minute chart of of Coinbase, sort of how it's played. Well, that was a very, very smart move there, James, because as it started to move down, it got a little bit of a support basically at 370, but you shorted, and so that was very nice. It went all the way down to 310. I think it's a good time to close your short. You may have left a few dollars on the table, but fantastic! I will cover absolutely. Very good, James. I mean, that's a very nice move, by the way. 500 shares. You just basically made 50 times 500. You just made $2,500. That's a very, very good deal. For what? How long were you in that? Looks like you were in that about an hour. About an hour and a little bit more. So congratulate yourself. Go out, buy yourself a beer. That's a very good short, and congrats, man. That's an excellent trade. Excellent trade. Oh, imposter short, no shares. Yeah, exactly. Nobody's going to lend you the shares. See, that's the one. That's the one problem. I wouldn't short it now. But that's the one problem when you have these things. In order to short a stock, you have to have somebody willing to lend you the stock, so then you could sell it and then buy it back later at hopefully at a lower price. That on an issue like that's going to be very hard. That's one of the reasons I didn't obviously short it, because I went in to get after the initial allocation. But congratulations, very, very good, very, very good trade. And you should chalk one up. Go out and buy a beer, because overall the day hasn't been that great for other stocks, but you've done fabulously there. So fantastic. Oh, nice shirt today. Thank you. Thank you very much. Basically, the reason I have the shirt on is because it's my gardening shirt, and nothing else was clean, so that's a bad thing to say. But thank you for noticing. Appreciate it. Let's look at Chewy. Chewy, of course, is the dog food. It's funny because back in the day, this is ancient history. I'm going to bore you with. I was in Silicon Valley, a matter of fact, I was in Silicon Valley, and I worked for a company. I worked for a company called Spa.com in Redwood City. It was a brand new .com, and basically it was the team of people from Pets.com. I don't know if you remember that, but that was the kind of the original one in this sort of space. Chewy, I think, is a lot more successful than Pets.com ever was, but it's kind of an interesting thing. Now I'm taking a look. Here's the chart of Chewy, and of course it's the online home delivery pet food company, which is a very good idea because a lot of people have pets. But it's down today. It's $85. It's it looks like it may be trending above. It may be finally reversing. I kind of want to take a look and see. I'm going to draw a reversal line here, and I'm going to kind of analyze this a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the weekly chart. And by the way, anyone can do this. This is really not rocket science. Basically, what you're looking to see is there a reversal. So I'm going to go to the weekly chart first, but then I'm going to click back to the daily chart to see kind of what's going on in terms of the price. So I'm going to start here at the highest high it made, and that is basically at 120. and then I'm going to start drawing a line, and then I'm going to try to hook it up with the next spike. Now, typically you want to have three points in here. I only have two, so it possibly is a reversal, but it is so early. I don't think it's really confirmed it. Here's what I do if I want to buy this one, and I've drawn this dotted line here. This is the reversal line. Here's the thing with this. I don't think it's ready. I think you got to watch this one. It's got a 71 relative strength. That's really not that strong. I'd like to see it move above the 50-day line, and that's right now. That 50-day line is basically right at right at 92.50. So here's the thing: I just would watch this one. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't be in this one. I just don't think you want to watch it. But you can watch this one because this could have explosive growth. This is not a stock to own for an investment. I'll be honest with you. This is a stock to trade, and if you can make a little bit of coin on it, that's a great coin like that. It's a good thing. So I just don't think that's the one to go. Let's take a question from Robert. Thank you so much for holding on. Is AI reversing? Of course, this is C3 AI. This has had a real. This started out so promising, but it is just it just has a awful chart. If you're in this one and you're down, I mean, I know it's incredibly painful, but I think you just got to pull the ripcord and you got to pull the bandage off this one, because this one it's got a relative strength of 1. It's pulled up a little bit today to the 21-day line, but this is just not the stock you want to be in. It just the people are voting with their feet and they're heading for the exit. So even though it had a increase in sales, the numbers just weren't good. And another thing I want to point out here is that when there was a major sell-off by some of the people that are insiders. That's what this negative in the circle means. There was a major sell-off. So the officers of the company are heading for the exit. They have negative cash flow. Their chart is looking bad. And so even though they do have 17% funds in here, I think you got to be way careful on C3. If you're more than 7% down, I really recommend closing your trade and then closing your trade, because there's just going to be other stuff out there that hopefully will perform better than that. So that's kind of what I have to say about C3 AI. I just think it's kind of not working. Any moves on Bitcoin? Well, I do have some exposure to Bitcoin in my portfolio. I don't actually have Bitcoin, but I do have GBTC. It's been off a little bit today, but overall it's been it's up. Yeah, see, this is very volatile, but overall it's been tracking very nicely as of late, and it's been tracking very well. I do kind of think if you want to get some exposure to Bitcoin, this is an easy way to do it. I do believe that we're going to see Bitcoin move higher. I just think we are. So GBTC, that's how I play it, and it's holding out very nicely. Obviously, the best thing to do would be if it moves above 59. Then you really want to buy it. But right now, I think you can make early buys in the GBTC. So I think that's a very, very good way to play it. I have a question from TikTok, looking at potentially, I'll pull the screen up for the TikTok chat. It's HYLN is the HYLN is the symbol for this one, and so there we go. Oh, there we go. So HYLN, let's see if we can, by the way, if you're looking on TikTok, you can jump over to YouTube and see me with all the charts and all my glory at youtube.com/self-trading4. So let's look at HYLN. And thank you very, very much for, it's Taddy Ann. So thank you for that. Very interesting one. It's essentially it's a stock that I probably wouldn't buy. It's under $10 and it has a terrible chart. I'm not trying to be negative here, but it does have a really bad chart. It's in Cedar Park, Texas. Interesting. Electric powertrains. Actually, I'm going to be going down to Cedar Park. By the way, if anybody is interested in an area of the United States that's growing extremely fast, Cedar Park, Texas is it. It's right north of Austin. So very interesting place. Unless these guys get a deal with one of the big companies, I don't want to be in this one. It's just a relative strength of 1, and it just isn't looking. It isn't looking very promising. I know, maybe, some people have said it is, but I think it's a terrible checklist, 22%. So you just have to avoid this one. It's not. I don't even think it's watch listable. I think you just have to. I just think you just have to avoid it. Avoid this stock. And I just think you've got to you've got to avoid this one, because it just the chart is horrible, and I hope you're not in it, but if you are in it and you're down, please consider closing your trade, because it's gone from a high of almost $60. It's currently trading at basically $59. This thing is going to be a basement dweller very soon. It's probably going to take up the slack and move down even more. I'm going to look at the 1-minute chart, but yeah, okay. So this is trending down. It did have a little bit of an upward trend, but yeah, this is trending down. I think you want to be. I don't think you want to be in this stock. I just don't think you want to be in this stock. It just doesn't work. And there's other places, there's other places to look for, for opportunity. All right, let's look at Hubs, and of course this is HubSpot. I haven't traded this one. It's a pretty famous stock. It's been, some people made a lot of money on this one. I have not traded it, but the chart is actually looking fairly good. I mean, the chart is looking, very good in that there's a cup base. It's pulled back. What happened is, and this many times happens, what a stock will move up to its buy point, which in this case is 547.47, and then it will try to break through that ceiling, and it will be rebuffed. And that's exactly what's happened here with HubSpot. It's down 1553, currently trading at 509.47. So here's the thing with this one. What you want to do if you want to buy this one, and this is not a bad stock. I mean, 93. It's got a lot of stuff going on for it. It's essentially a, it's sort of a cloud-based business. It's a little bit out of favor right now. 127 out of 197 in terms of the ranking of the group. So it's a little bit out of favor. But if you have high convictions in this one, what you might want to consider doing is putting in a buy stop limit order for $547.47 plus 10 cents, or $547.57. So that's where you want to do that. Now, what is a buy stop limit order? Well, a buy stop limit order is a special kind of buying order that if the stock moves up to a certain price, the stop price, then it then allows you to ask for another price. And in this case, that's the limit price that you put in, which would be which would be 547.47 plus 10 cents, and the limit price of 547.57. So that's a good way to buy it, because it breaks through. It will only buy it if it breaks through that resistance. And right now, that's exactly what happened with this. It came right up to the resistance point, and then boom, it couldn't move past it, and it's pulled back about $15. So I would watch this one, Robert. But if you want to buy it, oops, I said avoid the stock, which is not true on this one. I would want to buy this one only if it's pulling above its buy point, and because that's where the resistance is on this one. So again, buy stop limit order possibly at 547.47 plus 10 cents, 547.57. So hopefully that that answers that question. All right, no mic. Oh, do I have no mic here? Ooh, let's check my mic again. You know, I've been having issues with the audio. No, I should be live here, and let's check the. Yeah, okay, I should be live with the mic. So again, I apologize for, you know, my technical difficulties. No mic. Goodness gracious, muted. Problem with your mic. Oh, okay. Well, I should be on now. Am I muted? Okay, no, I should be on, so I should be going good now. Hopefully that'll work. No sound. Goodness gracious. Got to pick up the sound on TikTok. I apologize for this. All right. So let's look at AR. Thoughts on AR, and the CEO is retiring. Thanks, Jay, for that. AR. And hopefully that will come up here. Ultra Resources. It's an oil and gas company. It's up 57 cents today. It looks like it's bounced off the 50-day moving average, which is a good sign. It's got a 98 relative strength. This is actually looking very, very promising. 66 checklist, excellent. It's got 298. It's got 298 funds in it. That's looking very, very good. The industry and sector, it's number 4 out of 197. Now, this is why I've been so bullish on the oils, because they are just doing extremely well. In this group, the oil and gas group, and I want to show you the composite chart for all the ones in that group. This is the U.S.-based oil and gas group. It's looking very nicely, moving up. So this is kind of this is kind of where you want to be. Let's look at the 5 stocks. Let's look at the stocks that are basically by size, the biggest in there. Of course, EOG, we all know about that one. The one I was trading, Devon Research DVN, is something that you might want to look at as well. Diamondback, of course, this is on a lot of people's screens now. This is probably the one that probably is the most actionable. It's called FANG. That's the name of it. It's Diamondback Resources, and it seems to be doing very well. It's pulled up today very nicely. You know, it's up almost 6% just today. So it looks like it's made a nice move off of the 50-day moving average. This is an area of the market that seems to be getting a lot of play. So you know, if you're looking at AR, you might want to look also at Diamondback, FANG, because I think that's showing a lot of strength there. Thank you for that very much. No sound on YouTube. Am I still no sound on YouTube? Can someone get him how to get him on TikTok? Search isn't current. All right. Gosh, hopefully. Can somebody basically say if I'm looking here with my audio. I should be live on that audio. Okay, well, hopefully that's fixed the problem. I'm sorry about that. Good afternoon, Jim. Have you any thoughts on BE, Bloom Energy? Let's take a look at Bloom, BE, and see there, Bloom Energy. No, I really don't. This is kind of a renewable energy play. It's the oils really in the energy sector that are getting the love right now, and really not as much some of the renewable plays. This chart unfortunately is trending lower. I think that I just think you have to be a little bit careful. It looks like it's pulling back. Let's see if it gets support. There is a buy point on it on a cup basis at 23.38. It's currently 24.04. So let's see if it gets some support there. But right now, I can't recommend Bloom. It just doesn't looks good. Audio good on. Okay, great. Thank you very, very much. Thanks for reading that back to me. So appreciate it. Sometimes I can't tell if my audio is going or not. It seems so silly, but there you go. All right, ZOU is going for $20 to $30 soon. Any thoughts? Let's. I don't know if I can have anything on ZOU. Let's look. This is a question from TikTok, and thank you so much. No, I can't seem to get it, so I don't know about that. Let's look at Upwork. I think you mean UPWK, Upwork, because this has been seeing some very nice action. Upwork. Let's look at Upwork. There we go. Upwork. This is one I think you want to possibly be in. I'm going to show you on the YouTube screen basically this chart, because I do think it's I do think it's a very interesting chart. It's a firm called Upwork, and of course it's sort of like kind of an Uber for for kind of temps and stuff. I assume. I've never used it, but I've heard from a lot of people that it's very good, and it's got a relative strength of 98. It just passed, and I drew this trend line here. I'm going to reactivate it because this was what I was looking to see if it reversed, and it definitely looks like it may have reversed. This is on the weekly chart, so you could start really looking to possibly to buy this one. Now, what's happened today, though, it's pulled back to the 50-day line, but it looks as if it's gathering some strength and it may move higher. I would really look at this one at above a price of about 50. That's where I'd be looking to possibly buy this one. This is a very strong group. It's 48 out of 197, but there's a lot of funds that are in this one. It's got a good checklist, 88%, and the industry group is again 48 out of 197. So that's looking pretty good. I'm going to look at the options action on this. It looks as if the June 21 call is getting a lot of activity. So this might be a good choice to do a covered call or possibly a call spread on based on this, based on what I'm seeing here. I'm going to try to analyze that to see if I can put together a call spread on Upwork for about the June timeframe. So let's see. I mean, by the way, if you want to get and take a look at that, that's probably going to be exclusively for Discord members, but I will probably try to put out some other information on it. But if you're interested in getting, sort of the inside scoop with the Discord, it's really easy. All you have to do is go to venny.com/Dallas Trading Floor, and we do have a special. That way, it's a little bit easier to access me because it's right through the Discord room. So I try to be as responsive as I possibly can on the Discord. But it's a good way to get that. And I'm looking possibly to do a spread trade on Upwork just because it's such a hot stock, and it's now pulled above the 50-day moving average, which looks like that's very bullish, I believe. So if you want to take a look at that, it's at venny.com/Dallas Trading Floor on that. Okay, thank you. I've been yammering on here. So let's see if we can get another question, and hopefully my voice is is broadcasting now that it seems like I've solved the problem with the microphone. Sorry about that. Can you give thoughts on RSA versus relative strength? Okay, well, RSI is an indicator that is used by most of the other charting software. I don't typically use the RSI. I use what they call relative strength. I know it sounds it's an index versus the actual. I typically like to look at the actual. It's kind of basically what I'm looking at is I'm looking at not the stock against the whole market. That would be the RSI, but the relative strength of the stock versus the S&P 500. That's what I'm most concerned with, is the strength of the S&P 500 versus the stock, and that is the RS rating, which is a little bit different. For instance, here on Upwork, I'm going to show you that the RS rating is 98, but this line here is the RS line. This is basically the relative strength of the S&P 500. If the stock price is above this line, that means that the relative strength of this issue is stronger than the overall S&P 500 average. And if this is above, that means it's weaker. So typically we want to see stocks that have an RS line below their price action. So I don't know if that I don't know if that was a complete I don't know if that was a good answer or not, but that's kind of how I view it. All right, next question, of course, Jim. How much is it for a year of markets with? Oh, well, it depends. Markets with, by the way, is what I use, and I think it's excellent. They had a special on it, and I don't get anything from IBD, Investor Business Daily. I wish I did. By the way, they were just acquired by the Dow Jones, so hopefully they'll continue being as good a company as they've been for the last 20 years or so. But it typically runs on a yearly basis. It runs about $1,500 to $2,000 for a year subscription. It just depends on what deal you got. They're running deals all the time, but it's several. It's about, depending on how you bundle it, it's about $200 a month. So I think it's worth it for me anyways, because I've tried other ones, some more expensive, some less expensive, and it just every time it seems to have the best results. So I really like it, and I use it a lot. So that's kind of where it is, and they're available, of course, at investors.com is where that is available. So that's a good thing to look at. All right, and that was the relative strength question. Oh, I hear you fine. Fantastic. Thank you so very much for telling me. You have a big delay in the message. You're absolutely right. No mic was like 20 minutes ago. Okay, good. All right, watching live, no audio issues. Thank you, Roman. Appreciate it so much. I get a lot of questions. I'm trying to go through everything to get to everybody as much as I can. Thank you, Bunta. Let's look at HZON on the chart. HZON. Okay, and okay, Horizon. Okay, this is a blank check. This is a SPAC. Part of the reason, by the way, that Goldman has been doing so well is because a lot of these SPACs are sponsored by Goldman. I'm not a particularly big fan of SPACs because, frankly, I don't know what they're buying. I don't know what's in them. And sometimes I'm a little bit suspicious about what they're doing. I mean, Bill Ackerman has a big SPAC called Pershing Square, and I just don't trust them because Bill Ackerman was the guy that when the market was pulling back in the COVID thing, he got on CNBC and he waved his hands and he's like, the world's coming to an end and everything like that while he was shorting the market. So I don't know. I just want to see some real results. I want to kind of kick the tires a little bit, and a SPAC really doesn't let you do that. So that's my feeling on them, and that's the case here with Horizon Acquisition Corp. I hope that they're successful, but I'm just probably not going to be involved with it, just because I think there's other better opportunities out there. Thank you very much, Jim. HCON, and okay, so we did that one. SE, okay, so this is good, Roman. This is an interesting company. This, of course, is C Limited, and it's based in Singapore, and it was a terrific performer last year. It looks like it's retaken the 50-day line, which is excellent because that means that maybe we have the beginning of this very nice cup pattern. So this is actually very bullish. Currently, after hours, it's trading at 245.55, off just a slight tad, but it was up today, and it has a relative strength of 94. This was an awesome performer last year. And unfortunately, like many times, I wasn't in it. But we finally now have a base pattern. Here's the thing. This is what, sometimes it's hard to buy stocks like this because they just don't give us an opportunity. But it looks like C Limited might be giving us an opportunity. One thing I kind of want to point out here is the tremendous sales that they had this quarter. They reported just this recently, 102% up quarter over quarter. Their profit is still down a little bit. They still are losing money, but they're starting to see this very nice sales increase. And in a growth stock, you want to look for the increases in sales more so than the profitability. Now, of course, it's best if they have both. I'll be honest with you, but in this case, this is a very interesting company, and I do think that you could possibly get in it. There's a buy point on a cup basis for SE Limited. SE is the symbol, of course, at 285, right at 285. Now it's at 245. So here's the thing. In this kind of market, I would not buy it yet. I would wait a little bit, see if it moves up, and see how it tests the 50-day moving average. So I would watch this one, but I think you definitely should put this on your radar. It looks like a very good stock, and I know that last year it was it was excellent. So watch this one for now, and I think that you'll be pleased because I think it's coming into its own. Well, I think that I'm trying to get through all of the questions because we're running up on time here, unfortunately. Let's look at Frisker Ford. Okay, let's look at Ford. And the wait a minute, Essie. Let's see. We have a question. Essie. Essie is very young, C-suite, oldest member. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good, Brom. Thank you. Sometimes that can be good. Sometimes that can be bad. But that's a very interesting point that you bring up, Roman. I'm a little bit leery on it. I mean, not leery, but I'm a little bit cautious on this one. But it's had a tremendous run. So it has a very good chart. So. Based on the chart alone, I think that you've got to put it on your watch list. Okay, this is probably the last question. Thank you, Alexander, so much. Let's look at the chart for Ford. Of course, I'm in Ford in the small portfolio, and it's just kind of, this has been such a funny stock. I mean, I think it has tremendous potential, but as you can see, I have a reversal line here that I've drawn, and it needs to still move through this reversal line. I was in basically at 12.14. It's only at 12.26 right now. It's just been kind of hanging around in this consolidation. I do believe if it could pull above about 13.60, I think it's going to see some more power. It's got earnings in about 2 weeks. But this deal with NIO is very interesting to me because if they do have a deal with NIO, then I think Ford has distribution and manufacturing capacity that NIO doesn't have. So that may be a very, very interesting thing. Well, thank you everybody for bringing, and thank you for telling me about the sound. I've got to continue checking that because sometimes it's just kind of embarrassing. I'm on here without sound. If you want to get on the action trailers, and by the way, these are free, and I put them out basically with lists and things to look at, kind of areas of the market. We just put one out on Monday. And people really liked it. It was the very high relative strength stocks with increasing earnings under $10 that basically are above 90 in terms of their relative strength. And we just put that out on Monday. That can be some very, very good places to look for stuff. Last summer I was able to identify Blink Charging in that area and so several other really stocks that went on to become triples and doubles and that kind of thing. So it's a good way to go. And I put that out every Monday, and then I also put out other features as well. So it's easy to subscribe. You just go to, on this one, you just go to www.Dallas Trading Floor. Just subscribe on that one. So until tomorrow, thanks everybody for taking a look, and happy trading. And we will see you. We will see you on tomorrow, Thursday, 2:30 Central, 3:30 Eastern.